A few years ago, I started to notice a couple of things that actually work, that actually make a difference in how you feel about yourself. And I'm going to share with you exactly what these things are so that you can use them to become a strong, healthy, and confident young dude yourself. So, number one, the first thing that you're going to want to do is quit all pornography. This should be the most obvious thing in the entire world, which is why it's the first thing on this list. Regular use of pornography will negatively affect your motivation, confidence, self-image, and self-esteem. You just do not want pornography in your life because it will prevent you from being able to carry out the basics. I'm talking about being able to hold strong eye contact, being able to think clearly, being able to regulate your emotions, and being able to live each and every day without crippling anxiety or depression. The principle here is simple, man. Get out of your own way. Stop being fooled by your lower mind and do the work on yourself to break free so that you can start to live life properly. You're simply not going to respect yourself or have confidence in yourself if you're caught in this trap of easy pleasure. Spend weeks, months, and years, however long you need, to move out and away from this. It took me about 5 years to really be on top of it. So be patient with yourself, forgive yourself, and give everything you've got to break free. Because it is so unbelievably worth it once you're out. Number two, develop a strong and healthy sense of self. As a young man, you want to build a strong character with a strong sense of identity and self-worth. You need to start to break away from the herd and your friends and spend more time on your own to discover who you are and what you're about. Start to become aware of your insecurities, your fears, and your self-limiting beliefs. You want to be taking action to move into these fears, to accept these insecurities, and to make whatever you are afraid of part of your new comfort zone. Being a confident young dude is all about having an ever-expanding comfort zone, always looking to do things that mean your feet aren't quite touching the bottom. You want to be constantly pushing yourself, learning, growing, and deepening your understanding of who you are and how you work. Again, this is a multi-year process. Anyone with any wisdom will tell you that there are no shortcuts. And even if there were, you wouldn't want to take them. Because forging your own path is actually the best bit. It's through the process and the journey that you reap the important truths, lessons, and insights about yourself and your life. This is the goal that you need. So forget about the finish line. Live life now and commit to developing yourself each and every day. In my own personal life, every single confident young guy I know is self-aware and is doing work on themselves. It's very simple. You just need to begin doing it. Number three, lift weights, work out, and exercise regularly. This will do wonders for your confidence, and there are levels to this one. First of all, you look good and you know you look good. You perceive yourself as more attractive, more high value, stronger and more powerful and more masculine. Secondly, until you start lifting weights, you have no idea about how much vigor you have as a man and how deeply invigorating it is to feel like a warrior and to have that tiger blood coursing through your veins. Training feels good and it reminds you of what you're capable of. Sometimes you can be having a fairly crappy, low vibe kind of day, and then you go and work out. And just like that, instantly, you remind yourself of your strength and your discipline. You wake yourself back up, and you remember what you're all about. Speaking of disciplining oneself, this is not something that can be overlooked. The smartest and wisest guys who regularly train, do you know what they know? They know that they are training their minds just as much as they are their bodies. Working out is a completely mental thing. And you can see this with how much your performance differs depending on the state of mind that you're in. For example, I like to do a lot of pull-ups. I can do about 20 in a row. But when I was working out a few weeks ago, I was in a really giddy mood. I couldn't stop laughing. So physically, my arms felt like jelly. And so when I hopped onto the pull-up bar, I could barely do one pull-up without laughing and falling to the floor. Why? Because my state of mind wasn't quite there that day. I was physically strong enough, but lacked the correct inner state. The principle here is simple. Use your workouts to train your mind just as much as your body. Because I find even just knowing that you've worked out can make a difference. For example, in my life personally, the greatest confidence that I get from working out is in the knowledge that I've done the work. It's when I can still feel the residual body high or slight ache of the muscles, knowing that I've chosen to apply the self-discipline and knowing that I overcame the weakness of my lower self. You will naturally grow to be more self-confident when you start conquering your lower self 4, 5, 6 times a week, feeling like the man and waking yourself back up. But there's more. The other benefit of working out and disciplining yourself is that it creates a very subtle confidence, which is extremely powerful because it's dead quiet. It's silent. You won't hear it because it doesn't need anyone else to know it's doing the work. This is why the most confident people are those who silently work on themselves, reaping the benefits and honoring their higher selves without needing to tell anyone else about it. It's a sign of great emotional maturity and wisdom to abandon all attempts to show off or to make it known to others that you are doing the work to improve yourself. The confident young man knows to just embody it and to let it shine through you non-verbally and energetically. Number 4, learn to control your sexual energy. The way that you do this is very simple. To start with, you want to realize that your masculine energy is heightened when you don't release as much, when you retain your life essence, and when you don't ejaculate as frequently. This is otherwise known as semen retention or brahmacharya, which is the most direct way that I know to harness and to control your sexual energy as a man. I know very few people who have the self-discipline to carry this out, and so if you can get this down when you're young, or at any age for that matter, you will find yourself above where most other people are in terms of energy, vibrancy, vigor, and self-confidence. Essentially, what you need to understand is that releasing has a huge energetic cost. It saps you of your deep masculine essence. To build masculine energy, which can help you feel more confident, you are going to want to start to release less and to retain more. You retain the energy and then you transmute it or convert it into productive energy, creative energy, or spiritual energy. An abundance of this energy will provide you with a very healthy, natural confidence, perfect to combine with everything else that I've mentioned in this video. Also keep in mind that there's nothing inherently wrong with releasing. You just want to start to cultivate more discipline around it so that you don't squander it or you don't use it carelessly or mindlessly, especially when we know that there is immense power and potential behind it. Number 5, understand the basics of game, attraction, and male and female psychology. This will increase your confidence because when you know a little bit more about what you're doing when you're speaking to girls, you're just a lot more sure of yourself. You can even still make a lot of the rookie mistakes like being too nice or being too serious, but because you can see yourself making these mistakes and you can kind of just laugh it off, you can kind of just make fun of yourself a little bit. You don't take it as personally and you just accept that maybe with that particular set, you weren't as sharp or as calibrated than you could have been. And that's okay. You let that go and you learn to integrate that and integrate what you didn't do so well so that next time you can be more relaxed and more authentic. So you can understand these basics of game and attraction in 2 main ways. Number 1, by forming a basic theoretical foundation of the knowledge and principles that are timeless and that will always apply because they are rooted in human nature and men's direct experience. Believe it or not, men have actually taken learning game so seriously that all the work has already been done for you. All the information is out there right at your fingertips. All you need to do is absorb some of this, mainly the core lessons and principles that give you enough of an idea of what you're doing so that you can actually get to work without tripping up over yourself all the time. Which takes us to the second main way that we can learn these basics, which is testing the field. By getting out there and by approaching, by seeing what works through your direct learning, your direct failing, and your direct experience. The more that you practice this, the easier it will be to work on your confidence because you will learn nice and early that your insecurities and negative self-beliefs, they get in the way and they hold you back with your authenticity and your fluidity and naturalness when talking to girls. So you're going to be forced to look inside and work on your confidence. Or at the very least, those deeply held negative self-beliefs which hold you down. And doing this can really lighten you up and make you more self-accepting. But if you reject this part of the process and don't work on yourself, playing the game can and will become quite painful. You might start to suffer. And just like all games, you want it to be fun. So really the work is worth doing, and the inner work and learning the basics is simply so that you don't have to suffer through this inevitable phase of life and learning. Understanding the basics will just mean that you're not going in totally blindfolded, but in truth, you're still going to make all the classic mistakes, and that's completely okay, that's perfect. Making mistakes is the best thing that you can do, because making mistakes equals learning. And you just need to have the balls and the willingness to give this a shot and trust that it does end up getting easier, more enjoyable, and more worthwhile. Number 6, understand that your true confidence is your ability to accept and be your authentic self. Confidence is not about being alpha, nor is it about being wildly masculine or charismatic. Rather, it is about knowing yourself through and unapologetically being whoever that person is. Being a young, confident dude is actually very tough, because if we know that confidence is much more about letting go into who you really are, your authentic self, it can be quite difficult when you don't quite know who this person is just yet, which is why I recommend spending most of your time figuring that out. And what's interesting is, as you start to do this work, you learn that your entire life you've just been trying to fit in with the people around you. You've been trying to blend in and socially camouflage. And I say, screw that. Realize that there is an original, authentic, and unique human being within you, who only through social conditioning and fear and a desire to fit in has been overlooked and not fully developed. So find that authentic self within you and treasure it more than anything, because at the end of the day, your true, unfiltered, authentic self is the only person you can really be. And that's just how it is. So accept yourself and be yourself unapologetically. Number 7, take responsibility for every single thing in your life. Have you ever looked after a younger sibling or a younger family member where you really needed to protect them? And have you noticed what you instinctively do in this situation? You actually step out of your own way and you take ownership for their safety, survival, and mental and emotional well-being. And as a result, you immediately feel stronger, more capable, and more like the man. Why is this? Well, it's because you are choosing to confront and accept every possible outcome. You're not hiding away. You're ready for anything. You're ready to fight. And this act of stepping up and taking responsibility is actually a very high value masculine trait, which will make you automatically more self-confident. On the other hand, not taking responsibility and pacifying yourself with distractions and comforts all day, every day, will cause you to recoil into fear, insecurity, blame, judgment, demonization, and unconsciousness. The way that I described, you taking care of that younger sibling, where you're just completely fearless, is how I suggest you look after and take responsibility of yourself and everything in your life. Because your reality is yours. It's your kingdom. Take ownership of it. Have a mastery over it, because there's no one else to rule it. It's just you. And the earlier that you learn this, the more high quality of a man that you can grow into. So, to wrap up, here is a summary of this advice. Number 1, pornography is single-handedly the biggest trap that you'll face as a young guy. Make sure you have this under control. Number 2, find out who you are. Spend more time on your own. Build a strong character with a high self-worth. Number 3, lift weights and discipline your mind and body. Do this between 4 and 6 times a week. Number 4, learn to control your sexual energy. Remove pornography and practice semen retention. Number 5, learn the basics of game. Regularly approach women and get out of your comfort zone and push yourself more than you think you can. Number 6, become confident by accepting yourself and who you are. Find that authentic self within and be that guy unapologetically. And number 7, take maximum responsibility for the kingdom which is your life and your reality. Own your life and enjoy living it to the maximum. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm really just scratching the surface with these 7 things. There's actually so much more to say on this, but I feel as though there is enough in this video to give you a good start. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you would like more videos, then please do subscribe.